Hello, my name is Lubie, Grujicic-Alatriste, and I'm here today to welcome you to a short book tour of the latest edited collection that my colleague and friend Kate Crosby Grunlegger and myself put out recently. As you can see from the poster in the background, our book is titled Second Language Writing in Transitional Spaces. The emphasis of this book is on transitions. These are educational transitions from middle school to high school, from high school to college. We're actually looking at the entire spectrum of second language writing and the teaching of second language writing from K through 16. So why this book at this time? For the longest time, Kate and I felt that the places of transition are places that we don't quite fully understand as educators, as researchers, as theoreticians, or as administrators, and even materials writers. These spaces are often seen as spaces of tension, but also places of promise. And we thought if we brought on board a group of educators and researchers, scholars, theoreticians, and those who really have a lot at stake in these conversations, that we could provide better understanding about learning and teaching of second language writing in those moments of transitions. Why are transitions important? When student groups learn certain types of writing and certain genres, and they engage in practices of writing, let's say in K through 5, they are not often fully understanding what's ahead of them. And the same can be said for teachers, although teachers could technically look at the standards, state standards, and curriculum that's ahead of the students. The fact is, there isn't always enough interaction between the stakeholders, both in one setting that is being sort of left behind, for example, elementary school, and the next setting that's coming as a next step, for example, middle school. So in most of our chapters, we urge a stronger bridge building and sort of recognizing the need for pathways from one educational setting to the next in some sort of collaborative way, where there is both a sort of 2020 insight as to what happened in the previous space of learning and what is ahead. So the idea was to provide sort of um, laboratories to look at what's going on in specific schools or specific curricula, and how to best address practices so that teachers and students and educators in general can learn from that, can inform themselves, and can possibly make their own practices in their own schools better. I would like to make this presentation very short, so to keep your attention, and that's why I'm just going to give you a brief read through the tables of contents. And of course, please visit the University of Michigan website for more information and for chapter details. But our book has about 10 chapters. An introductory chapter is by me and Kate Crosby, where we bring some of these questions to fore and sort of review some of the theories of second language writing and second language teaching to see how best we can inform our colleagues across all settings. Chapter 2 focuses on elementary and middle school divide, in which Kathy Wong and her collaborators examine what's happening in their places of practice. Catherine Crosby Grunlegger herself looks at transitioning young English learners to school writing across K to 2. And in chapter 3, Luciana Oliveira and her team look at genre-based pedagogy and approach to second language writing, which is more of sort of looking at K through 16 genre models and how best to serve second language writers. Chapter 4, Ruth Hartman and her team look at reflectional literacy in pre-service language teacher education. Chapter 5, George Bunch and his team looks at policies implementing multilingual writing from high school to higher education. Todd Rucker in Chapter 6 looks at theoretical and contextual divides between high school and teachers in college faculty. Chapter 7, my own chapter, looks at genres in transitional spaces, but from the point of view of a student, one point of view that we don't often see or hear. Michelle Cox looks at multilingual writers, identity, and assignment design in first-year composition. So she looks at the transitions from high school to college and college composition expectations. Dorothy Warden in chapter 9 looks at making the transition from student to teacher um, in terms of novice alto writing teachers and their reckoning with the apprenticeship. And in the final chapter 10, Alan Hirvella looks at argumentative writing and textbooks and what happens in all of the transitional spaces in terms of argumentative writing. This is just a brief tour, and I hope that you will find this interesting and engaging enough to actually look up on the University of Michigan site and see more details about chapter summaries and some model chapters. I hope that you find our book useful, and both Kate and I thank you for your attention, and we hope to hear from you if you have any questions or if you would like to pursue some of the chapters further. Thank you and have a good day.